Hello friends, welcome back to Adike's Infotech channel. Today we are going to discuss about one more interview question which is asked by iLink digital company. So the question is, how can you generate sequence number without using sequence generator? And second question is, three source files which is flat files having same structure and need to load into single table. Here one condition is there without using union transformation. Okay. And the third question is what is direct and indirect loading? Okay, let's discuss with the first scenario. How can you generate sequence number without using sequence generator? So how we can achieve this? Suppose we have a table or file. Let's assume it has ID, name, and or yeah, ID, name, some department. Okay. So ID in the sense we can assign anything like 1, 2, 3 or 1, 4, 5, which will be unique, right? ID. And the name is some random names Raghu, Raju. Okay. And department is IT, and here is sales. Okay, let's assume like this. So this is a source, and in target, it should have a serial number, ID, name, department. So these are the columns the target table is having. So we need to load these records into the target table and we need to generate the sequence as well. Okay. Now we'll see. Let's log into the Informatica Power Center and we'll check. So I logged into this Informatica Power Center. Okay. Not this one. We'll start with create sign sequence values. Okay, so we should have a source, right? Let's create a source here. Create a table sequence. So what are the columns we assume? ID, which is a number, let's say, and assign 3, and name, bracket 2 1 2, and then uh, department, right? This is also bracket 2 10. So this is a source table. So just created it. Now let's insert the records into the table. Insert into table sequence values. So for digits, you don't have to give any quotations. Let's say 101 ID and the name. For name, you should use the colons. Raghu. And the department is IT, right? So in this way, let us insert 5 to 10 records. So I'm just inserting 10 records here. We can give random IDs 111, 121, 141, 110, 32, 31, 41, 65, and 190. Okay. The name is, so in this way I have given the records. These are the 10 records which I am going to insert now. So now these are the 10. So I have inserted all the records now. So this is the source table which I am having now. So these are the ID column and the name column and the department. But here you can see the sequence values are there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 till 10. This is a system defined sequence values. The Oracle will assign the row numbers. So these are the values, but we need to get the sequence value into the target table. Okay. Let's create a target table here. So in the same way, like you have to just copy this thing, just put it here T. We should have a sequence number of 5. Okay, so I'm just adding only one column here because this needs to be populated from Informatica. Okay, I'll just create it. The table is created. Select from. So now you can see we don't have any records into this table, right? Now we will load this source records into target by using Informatica. Okay. So I'm just logging into this Informatica Power Center. Go to this source tab. Let's import that source table. So what is the table name? S underscore sequence, right? Okay. So I have imported source. Now let's import target table as well. Target table also T underscore sequence. Now let's design the mapping. So go to source here, drag and drop. So this is the source we have, and even target also drag and drop. So now we need to generate the sequence value. Okay, we do have here, you can see sequence generator transformation is there. If you take this transformation, it will generate the sequence value. Here you can see the next and current value is there, right? First I'll try to generate with the sequence generator, then without using this also we'll try that. Here you can see the start value is 0 and the increment by 1. End value is this is. By default Informatica has this is the end value and the current value is 1. Here one interview question. He will ask you in sequence generator what whether the next value will have the high value or the current value will have the high value. They will ask you which one will have the maximum highest value, next value or current value. You can see here the starting value is 0, right, and it will increment by 1. Current value is 1, which means here you can see current value, next value. Current value is 1. Here by default the current value is 1. The starting value is 0, which means the next value is 0, current value is 1, and then it will increment by 1. Okay, so for that question the answer is current value will always have the maximum value than the next value. So here we are if you want to generate from 1 to 10, suppose you have 100 records. If you want to generate the sequence values from 1 to 100, then you can give the n value here as 10. Okay, you don't have to provide this much of number. You can do it based on the data how much you are receiving from the upstream applications. Okay, as of now, I'm just keeping it like this only. I'm just incrementing it by 1. The next value is 0 and the current value is 1 now. Here the cycle is, if you want to repeat from 1 to 10, after that again the sequence should start from 1. So in that way, if you want to cycle that sequence number, then you can give this option, cycle. Reset, what this will do, what reset it will do. Suppose you have 1 to 15 sequence numbers, okay? After 15, what you have to do, you need to reset. Then again it will go to 1, okay? Suppose you have a 100, here the end value is 100, okay? You got only 59 records from the source. So from 1 to 59 it will generate, okay? And the next value is, it should increment by 1, right? So next is 60, it should be sequence value. But if you give the reset value here, it will reset. Again, it will start from 1. So that is the difference between cycle and reset. This is also one of interview question they will ask you. So you can see here there are two interview questions. The interviewer might ask you in this sequence generator, which one, which value has the which value hold the maximum value, whether next value or current value. So answer is current value because current value is always 1. And the next question is, what is the difference between cycle and reset? Okay, you should explain all these things. So now I'm just going with this. So now what I have to do, I will map all these columns to ID department and the sequence is I'm going to map to the sequence. That's it. You can see, save it. You can see the sequence value is valid. Now let's try to generate workflow for this. Here the source is source, right? And the connection for target is target. Next, next, finish. Go to here, you can see W workflow manager. Click on this. Go to workflows. Assign sequence value. This is the one which we have generated now. Double click on this. If you go to mapping tab, you can see here the source. This is a relational reader, right? Table, which is source. The source table is S underscore sequence. And target, give here normal. Connection is target. If you want to truncate the table before loading, you can opt for this option. Okay, that's sequence generated. If you see here, you can see the properties as well. Starting value 0, increment by 1, current cycle 1. Apply. Okay, and then save it. You can see the workflow is valid. Now let's run the workflow. You can start workflow. The monitoring workflow monitor it will open. Now you can see this is the job, right, which we have ran now. Just double click on this, you can see how many records are loaded in the source or target statistics. Here you can see from source it has read for 10 records and it has loaded the 10 records. Let's check in Oracle. Go to target. Before we don't have any records, right? Now let's run this. See, we have successfully generated the sequence numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is the scenario. Now the actual question is, how can you generate sequence without using sequence generator? So I don't want to use this. How can you generate? So I'm just removing this one. Yes. So you want to generate the sequence value. How can you generate? So we cannot give any, we cannot write source qualifier in this to generate the sequences, right? So we have a expression transformation. Let's take this. So what I'll do, I'll pass all these columns source qualifier to expression transformation. So what I'll do here, I'll create one variable port. Double click on this, go to ports. So I want to create one variable port. Why I want to create variable port? Because I'll do here the calculations I'll do here in this. This is an integer. So this is a variable. So what calculations I'll do? So at present, this port, let's do one thing. I'll cancel it. I'll create one more underscore sequence. This is also integer. This is output. So for this input is variable port p underscore sequence. Okay. So I'll pass this output. So o underscore output this port to sequence number. So in this port I'll do the calculations. v underscore sequence equal to v sequence plus 1. Let's try. So what this variable port is doing here? Initially it has a 0, right? 0 plus 1, 1. So the next time for first record it will give the sequence 1. Okay. And for the next second record, when Informatica is trying to pull the second record, so it will come till here, and here it will come. It will check the previous V sequence. It will be 1, right? Here 0 plus 1, 1. For the first record, it will assign 1. For the second record, it will check V underscore sequence, which is holding 1, right? 1 plus 1, 2. So the output it will give 2. In that way, sequentially it will generate the sequence values. So by using variable port also, you can generate the sequence values. So this is how you have to design a mapping to generate the sequence values. Okay, save it. See, now the mapping is valid. And I'll just refresh this session so that it will take the latest mapping. Refresh mapping. You can see here when you done this refresh now, refresh has been completed successfully. The following object has been reverted. So the latest one it has been updated. Now save it and it will check whether it is valid or not. It will say it is valid. If you want, you can here I'll just truncate. I'll just truncate this table. Okay. Now you can see we don't have any data, right? You don't have to truncate because I have already given the truncate option in this mapping only. The target, if you go and check here, truncate target table option. So every time before it is loading, it will truncate the table and load the records. Okay, I'll just rerun this session again. So again it ran. So it had 10 records and it is loaded 10 records. If you check in the target schema, see the same. It has generated the sequence values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is how you can implement the mapping. So that is one scenario. Now let's check the second scenario. Three source files, which is flat file, having same structure and need to load into single target without using union transformation. You know that union transformation, what it will do? It will load, it will take multiple inputs and give you single output, right? So which means you can pass all these three source files, you can pass to union transformation, and with that it will take only one output to the target. With that, simply we can achieve this scenario. But the question here is without using union transformation. It's like same sequence number. Here they are telling to generate sequence value without using sequence generator transformation. Here also they are telling load multiple files into single target without using union transformation. So why they will ask you this kind of questions means they will just they'll just try to understand uh, how how analytically you can think. If you don't, if without using these Informatica built-in transformations, without that also, how can you how can you design the mapping to fetch the same output? For that purpose only, they will ask you these kind of questions. Okay, but you need to think in a way like we have expression transformation. This is like a custom transformation. You can do all kind of actions here. So you have to think like with using this user defined transformations, we need to think the logic whether we can get the required output or not. Okay. So now let's discuss this second one. Three source files. I have a source files here. India, USA, Australia. Okay. In each file, I have 10 records, which has ID column, name, mobile address, city, country. So these are the columns. So for all three files have same columns and different data. For testing purpose, I have just changed only the country details. Rest all the details are same. But let's assume all are different data. Okay. So now I need to load these into single target table. So for that I have created T region. Okay. This is the target table. So whatever the source here, whatever the columns are here, so that I have created in the target table. Okay, and yeah, let's design the mapping for this. First of all, we need to import the source files, right? I have already imported region files. Okay, region files. You can ask me one question here, like we have a we discussed about three files, right? But here we have only one file. Instead of three, I have just imported only one file. We'll discuss about it. So to answer that question, this is the we need to discuss about this. What is direct and indirect loading? So these are methods. Method one, direct load. So direct is nothing but source is having flat file and we can directly load into target, which is a table, or source is table and the target is flat file. So these we call it as a direct loading. We're just dealing with only one set of information, right? So here flat file, we have only one flat file. We are directly loading into the table. Here we have one table. We are directly loading into one flat file. So it's called direct method. And we have another method, indirect method. So what is this indirect method is? Let's assume we have a S1, S2, S3, S4, like that. We have 10 source. All these are the flat files. Okay, these are all flat files. And in target, I need to load into one table. That's it. T1. So multiple multiple sources we need to load into single target. So when we can achieve this scenario is all the source flat files should have same structure. Like as I shown in it, before, all these three files have same columns. So which means the same structure. If there are same structure for these columns, then only you can do the indirect. Then only we can go with indirect method. Suppose we let's assume S1, S2 have same structure, and S3, S4 has different structure. In that way, for others also, like S6, S7, for those we have defined S8, S9, S10. For three files we have defined. So these kind of different files we cannot load into a single target. Either from 1 to 10 have the same structure, or if we have from 1 to 3 same structure and 4 to 6 we have defined, then you need to load from 1 to 3 into one table, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6 into one table. In that way we can load it. Okay, so here the scenario is all three files have same structure. So if we have the scenario like that, then we can go with the indirect method. How we can implement this indirect method is, let's say in some path the files need to be arrive right in some path. Let's say it's a source file path. In real time, we'll be having inbound, outbound. Inbound is nothing but which we receive the files. Outbound is nothing but which we transfer the files. Okay. Inbound means we will receive the Informatica will receive the files from upstream. Outbound means from our outbound directory, downstream teams they will pull the files. So in real time, that is the scenario. There should be some path should be there. Let's say uh, this is the path C underscore infa source and then file1.txt. So in this path we are receiving the files. Okay. So we have multiple files here. As I said, let's take three files. Okay. What you can do is for these kind of files you can create one dummy file. Let's say file list. So what you need to do, you can create one dummy text file in this under the source directory. In this file list, what details should be there is these three. These three file paths should be mentioned into this one dummy file. Okay, this file as a single file we will be passing to the Informatica. So Informatica, it will go and open this. It will go to this folder and it will open the file. It will read what are all the lines are available. First step is this one, right? So it will read again. It will go to C directory. It will go to infa folder, and then it will go to source folder. It will open the file1.txt. In that file1.txt, what are all the records are there? Those records will be loaded. Once it is completed, again it will go back to the this operation. Since it is completed, for the second run, it will go to this path. Again, it will open the file2.txt. It will read all the data. Once it is done, again it will come here. It will read all the data. It will read all the records from this file3.txt. It will load it. Okay. Then it will exit since there is no further instructions. So it will come out. So in that way, we can load the multiple files into a single target. Okay. So now let's get into the practical session. So this is the one, right? I have already imported. So let's create mapping for this m underscore multiple file name. So I'll drag and drop this. And one more thing, uh, this region file is there, right? Uh, we cannot import it directly. Sorry, I missed it. What you have to do here, go to source. Okay. What I'll do, I'll just remove this and again create. Go to source. Here you can see create. We cannot import that because this is not a file, right? This is not. This is a file, but it doesn't have any data in into this file. We don't have any data. We have information again. So if you if you import it as a source into Informatica, you won't get the column details. It should get column details, right? While if you import this, you should get a column details. But here we don't have any columns. It's a piece of information is there. So what you need to do, you have to create a source. Like what are all the this file columns are there that we need to create. So let's give a name multiple file, okay, which is a flat file. Create, which is done. Click on done. Then double click this. And you need to check whether it is a delimited file or fixed width. It is a delimited file. It is a comma delimited file which I have created here. You see here it is a comma delimited file. So I have selected delimited file. If you go to advanced also, you can check here what is the delimited type. Comma, right? I have given comma here. And then optional codes. Is there any single quotes or double quotes? As of now, there is no any quotes here. Okay. Go to columns. Here we don't have any columns. We need to create these columns. ID, name, mobile address, city, country. So how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns are there. 6. So let me create ID, which is a member, right? I just give 10. Name, which is a string only. So I'll give 20. So in this way, I have created the columns ID, name, mobile, address, city, country, and I given the how much of space we need to allocate for the each one. Okay, go to properties here. Here we need to check one thing. Okay, this is what we have the files. Okay, and we need to check right whether okay till here everything is fine. When we run the job, it will open each file and it will load, right? But we need to know whether from which file it has read. From we have 10 records, right? From which file from these 10 records belongs to which file. So that we need to also cross check. So we need to track the file name as well. So how we can track the file name? Here you can see, go to properties here. Add current processed flat file name port. Name as a port. If you click this, here you can see if selected, a port specifying currently processed file name will be added to the source widget. So go to columns. Here you can see one column has been added. This is default port name. Whenever here it will read the file 1.txt, right? Once it has read all the records into this file, then at last it will capture the file name. So these records belong to file1.txt. So in that way it will capture. So this is how you have to create a source, apply. In interviews, they will definitely ask you what are all the properties which you will use while designing the mapping. Okay, okay. So we have the source here. We got multiple file now. Okay. In target, I have this table I have already imported. Now let's create the mapping. Now if you drag and drop, you will get the column map. If you directly import the dummy one, if you directly import this filelist.txt, you won't get the column names. So which is wrong. Okay. So let's drag and drop the target. So here the scenario will come now. So in target table also I have created one file name port so that we can cross check what are all the files we have loaded into the target. Okay. So let's take an expression. What I'll do, I'll just map all the columns. From here also, I'll select all the columns and I'll just exit it. So at the mapping level, that's it we have to do. Now the mapping is valid, right? At mapping level, this is the case. Now let's generate workflow. Target is target. Next, next, finish. So go to workflow manager again. You can refresh multiple file load. Now the main thing is here. Go to mapping. Source is a file, right, which we have created. Input type is file. Here you can see source file type direct. So if you give direct here, what it will do, it will consider as a only one file. So if you mention direct here, which means it will think that there is only one file that which I need to load into the target. But the scenario which we are doing is a indirect. If you click on this, you will get option direct or indirect. Indirect. So indirect means it will check one sample file. Here you need to provide the path and the file name. So this is the sample file which I have created, right? To open in this, right? First to show you. So this is how I need to do. So s.india.txt, s.australia.txt, s.usa.txt. So in this path, I have these kind of files. Okay. So I'll select this name dot txt and you need to give the path as well. So this is the path. In this part, it will go and open this sample file and it will read all the files. So they will ask you in interview what are all the properties you are going to change at source level. So these all you need to keep it in your mind. So in the target, which is a normal load, and if you want to truncate the table, you can truncate. Okay, expression we don't have it. Now let's apply. Okay, save it. You can see the mapping is valid. So now let's run the session. Before that, we'll check whether any records are there. No, we don't have any records, right? Let's run the session. Start workflow. Here you can see it is loading. It got succeeded already. So you can see from source it is reading 30. How come 30? In each file, we have 10 records, right? So 3 files in essence, 30 records. It has loaded 30. So if you check here, you can see all the 30 records. You can identify with this ID as well. In one file, country India, how many records? 10 are there. Next, so again, we have one ID, which is from Australia, from 1 to 10. It is loaded. Again, from 1 USA, we have 10 records. And you can see the file name also. What are the file names which we have loaded? You can get the file because the length is too much very. The file length is has a huge, right? So for that it has displayed only in the top window. So we can increase uh, the column data type value. You can increase the length of the column, then you can get the file names as well. So this is how you need to uh, clarify, or you have to give the explanation to the interviewer. So this is how you can achieve this scenarios. So I hope you guys understood these scenarios clearly. If you have any doubts or questions, just drop in the comment box so that I'll respond it back. And I'm going to starting new batch on IICS. IICS new batch I'm starting from 20th September. So if you guys interested, you can. I'll drop my WhatsApp number in the comment section. You can just give a message or you can call me directly. So it's very the current industry. They are looking out for the ISS developers. Suppose if you are working as an admin or support role, it is a right time to get into the development side because you will get more salary hike and you will get more opportunities to learn as a developer. So, okay, yeah. In previous batch, I have till now 3 batches are completed. In that, almost 10 candidates are joined. In 10 candidates, almost 3 to 4 people are already got placed in MNC companies. So they are also the background they came from like admin role or support role. So they got a good opportunities in new MNC companies with a good kind of package. Okay. So this is what I wanted to explain you. If you guys interested, please drop me or ping me in the WhatsApp. Okay. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Please do subscribe, like to my videos, and share these videos to your friends. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day. We'll catch up in the next video.